Welcome to Nugg Talk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nugg Talk, a weekly podcast where we talk about everything going on in the NBA and everything going on with your Denver Nuggets. I'm your host, Loki, here once again with my co-host, Phil. Phil, we got out of the first round.
Undefeated in the first round.
Yeah, with Jokic, undefeated. We've never lost in the first round. No more first round curse for the Denver Nuggets, which is good to have.
The Carmelo first round curse is alive and well.
Yeah, that's always a thing, which is funny. It was very cathartic. But we will get into the series for sure. But we got, a couple other things to talk about. We'll do our full second round preview because the way everything kind of panned out, everything's basically all set. The only thing at the time of recording that isn't is the Mavericks Clippers series is still going on. But other than that, everything is basically all set. Regarding the Mavericks Clippers series, that is one of the weirdest series I think I've ever watched in my life.
Insane.
No no home team has won a game in the first 5 games. It's like the first time since 1990 something. It was like a long time ago where no home team has won a game. But hopefully Dallas breaks that tonight and they beat the Clippers. That is what we would hope for. But we'll see how that goes going forward. But we'll start off as always with the Eastern Conference, just because it's the week of conference and no one cares really about the Eastern Conference, even though there's some fun series. But first matchup is probably the better of the two matchups. It is Brooklyn versus the Bucks. Brooklyn beat the Celtics in 5 pretty convincingly, except for one time that Jason Tatum got 50.
Yeah.
The Bucks swept the Heat, which was a shocker to me because I thought the Heat would win that. They just got...
It was domination. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
got completely blown out. Jim, what do you think about people saying it's because the bubble was a fluke?
Bubble's not a fluke. The Heat are, though.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good summarization of that because I don't think entirely the bubble's a fluke.
Nah.
Because the bubble was hard.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people discredit the bubble, but living trapped in a place for
I would hate that.
4 months would be terrible. Especially when you're millionaires and you're used to these big houses and now you're living in
a hotel room.
Yeah, Disney hotel rooms. But yeah, I don't think that that's a fair, criticism towards everyone from the bubble who had good bubble performances, mainly Jamal. But I just think it was unfortunate for them, for the Heat, because, Jimmy didn't show up. They were all tired.
They were all gassed. And also, the East was so bad last year.
Yeah, the East was really bad.
They got hot at the right time, and they were able to win.
Yeah. So like I say always with the East, it's just whoever's the hottest player, whoever's the best player is usually going to take you there. So last year was Jimmy. The year before was Kawhi. 8 years before that was all LeBron.
It was always LeBron, yeah.
So it's just that's just how the East is and how it goes. But yeah, so the Heat got swept. That didn't go well. So now it's Bucks versus Nets. Nets have home field advantage. How do you see this series going? Who do you think is going to be X factor, and who do you think will win the series?
If the Bucks have a chance in the world to win this series, it'll be because of Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday has to play great defense, and he has to average at least 20 in this series. I have it as Nets in 6. They're just too much. They're too talented. They have too many good players. If they don't ever lock in on defense, then it could get scary, but I kind of expect them to once things get quote-unquote tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely this is probably, since we'll talk about coming up, Joel is most likely, he might play, he might not. We don't know. He got a meniscus tear, but with that news, this is probably the hardest test the Nets are going to have till they get to the finals. And with that being said, I still don't think it's going to be a very hard test. I have Nets in 5.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
My X factors is just all of Brooklyn's big 3. It's just too much. I don't think there's no way that they're going to be able. It doesn't matter how good Milwaukee's defense is. You can't guard those 3 consistently. And now that, as we'll talk about later, the Lakers are out, this is definitely my team to win the championship this year. They're just too talented, even though they don't play defense. They just have too much talent for anyone to deal with. Mm-hmm. If you bottle up Harden, Kyrie and KD are going to get theirs. If you bottle up Kyrie, the other 2 are going to get theirs. There's just too much scoring from those 3, and I think that they're just going to be able to run the Bucks out of the gym. Now, granted, again, as always, is the stipulation with the Bucks. Like you said, one is if Drew Holiday shows up, which he did a lot in the last series, which was a huge difference from the years prior where Bledsoe would never show up. And then they finally had a point guard who would defensively show up and, provide some contribution. But as always with the Bucks series, it comes down to Giannis, and will Giannis make shots? And I do not believe that Giannis will make shots.
Yeah, Giannis is going to have to shoot threes for them to stay in the game.
Yeah. Granted, they are winning in the season series, but the Nets rested everyone during the regular season.
They never played them full strength.
So a lot of people think this is going to be a close series. I am not one of those people. I think the Nets are going to dominate. You say 6, which is, still pretty close, but it's not like a domination. So it's a respectable loss. It's like, you take it. But I say gentleman's sweep for the Nets, and the Bucks will go home, and then we'll see what they'll do in the offseason. I'm sure they'll freak out again and make some moves because they want to make Giannis happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Nets will win. We both have that. The other series is the Sixers versus the Hawks. The Sixers won in 5 against the Wizards. It basically was utter domination. If Joel Embiid didn't get hurt,
it would have been a sweep.
It would have been a sweep. But like we said, Joel did tear his meniscus, and that is something that we have to see. He's day to day. He could play. He might not. We'll see. On the other side, the Hawks beat the Knicks. They won also in a gentleman's sweep. What were your thoughts on that series? Because we both thought that was going to be a competitive series.
I thought it was going to be the best series, and the Knicks pissed off Trae Young, and then that was all she wrote.
Yeah,
that's basically how it went in my eyes. And they just kind of ran them out of the gym. The next multiple games, it was I think 3 games in a row they won.
Yeah, basically
because they went 1-1 and then they won 3 straight. Yeah, they have a good team. Atlanta has some talent, and Trae Young is starting to blossom a little bit himself. So
yeah, we gotta give credit to also Nick McMillan came in as interim head coach. He's done a great job of teaching them how to play defense. That was the main shocking thing is the Knicks were the second best defensive team in the league, and
the Hawks were outplaying them.
And the Hawks were outplaying them on the defensive side of the ball. And obviously Trae Young, he did his thing. He had a lot of fun with it too, with the crowd and everything. Even though we don't condone spitting on players.
Yeah, don't do that.
Fans are fucked up. What are your thoughts on all the fan stuff that's been going on?
It's pretty whack. You pay to go there. Just go there and watch the game.
Yeah.
Don't let your emotions get that. You can boo. Even if you chant Trae Young's balding or fuck you, Trae Young, then fine. But don't start throwing shit. Don't spit on people.
It's messed up.
Sit down and watch the game. You can use your words.
Yeah, the thing is, I think a lot of it too is just someone made the point that maybe it's just because everyone was bottled, locked up for so long.
They just think
they can do whatever the fuck they want now.
Yeah.
It's no, you still have to be a respectable human being. You can't be spitting on people or throwing food or water bottles at them.
Don't be an asshole. I don't. You wouldn't want people doing that to you, so why would you do it?
It makes no sense. I feel like they just think they can get away with it, but you can't get away with anything now. There's so many cameras everywhere.
It's easy to figure out who did it, and every person who did that, I think, got banned.
So. Yeah, every person there got banned, and I think the guy in Boston's
he's facing charges.
He's facing charges to probably go to jail, and he probably will go to jail, even though he pleaded not guilty. So don't do this. Be respectful. You're going to watch a show. You're not. These are real people who are playing a basketball game. Do not throw things or spit on them. That's messed up. But I will say it was kind of cool to see that Knicks environment. It is a cool environment. They had a very, when they won that one game, it was very cool. Even though I'm not a Knicks fan, I don't like the Knicks, but it's good for basketball because that is the mecca. People just like it, people like that environment, but it's kind of a negative for them because everyone likes playing in New York, even the away teams, so they never really have home court.
Yeah.
Because the players, all the star players love to play in that stadium. So it's just it kind of goes against them.
It's tough to actually it does hurt them for sure. Especially when they don't have a superstar.
Exactly. So it always hurts. MJ used to love playing there, Reggie loved playing in there, Trey loved playing there. As you saw, a lot of people love playing in the Garden. It definitely hurts them more than it helps them, I think, in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, so they're out. So it's going to be Hawks versus Sixers. Like we said, Joel's out with torn meniscus. what do you think they're going to do? Will they, after they saw what happened with AD, in the past, what has happened with Kyrie, when someone gets a minor injury but could re-aggravate it, but they force them to play? Do you think they will force Joel Embiid to play? Do you think they will let him rest?
I think they will hold him out for the first game and see what happens. If it's close, even if they lose, I bet they'll hold him out for game 2 as well. Yeah. If they go down 0-2, then he's going to play. And then it gets scary for Joel Embiid's season next year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I could see him fully tearing that meniscus and have to miss some time. So,
yeah. I didn't know it was this serious of an injury. I didn't know it was meniscus till you told me the other day. I would totally shut him down.
Yeah.
Just shut him. You're not winning. Just shut him down. You're not, even if you get past this series,
you're not going to win.
You're not going to beat the Nets. Just shut him down. I would shut him down. You don't want to risk this. You don't want to not have him for next year or even part of next year. Just shut him down completely. Now, will they? No.
No, he's going to play.
He's going to, I think, I agree with what you said. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to see how the first couple games goes. Then they're going to get desperate. They're going to put him in. And then hopefully he doesn't get hurt. That's all we can say here. I don't think he should play. I think they should shut him down. If he knows what's best for himself, he would ask to be shut down, but everyone's a competitor and they're always going to ask to play. It's the same thing that happened with like Jamal and KD and all those guys. Mm-hmm. Like they always want to play if they can. But if the medical staff for the Sixers was smart, they would completely shut them down because you don't want to get your MVP candidate basically out for next season when you could have a better chance. Who knows? You get free agents, you get trade acquisitions. Other people on other teams get hurt. Like, you don't want to just hurt your future when you know you're probably not going to beat the Nets.
Yeah.
But with that being said, how do you see the series going? Who do you think wins? Who will be an X factor?
I mean, gosh, it's so tough to predict. I'm gonna say Hawks in 6.
Okay.
Because of Clint Capella.
Oh, okay. So you say Capella's the X factor?
Yes, because Trae Young's going to get his. He always does. And Ben Simmons, he'll help. He'll guard him. But also, Ben Simmons is going to be asked to carry a heavier offensive load, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And if Joel can't go, then Capella's going to eat. And I feel like Joel is going to miss at least one game in this series.
Yeah.
And if they're not careful, he'll miss all of them.
Mm-hmm.
If he's healthy and if he doesn't get hurt, then I say Sixers in 5.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen, so I say Hawks in 6. And I think they have a really good team. They have a much improved defense, as we already kind of noted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like their team.
Yeah, I think if Joel plays like the whole series, they would win in 5, like you said.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with the assumption that he's not going to play, or if he comes back, like, I don't want something bad happen to him, but I just can't see anything other than that.
Yeah, it's the only scenario I can see.
So I'm just going to go if he plays or if he doesn't play, just entirely.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't play, I say Hawks in 7. I think it's going to be a very competitive series. It's going to be very close. I think Ben Simmons will be huge on the defensive side because he will make sure that Trae Young doesn't pop off. Trae Young will still pop off. He's a very good player. He's going to get his, but Ben Simmons will do the best job on him that anyone in this league could probably do. But the X factors for me is if Capella's good, like you said, I think the Hawks win because they won't have anyone to stop Capella. They have Dwight Howard, but that's not going to really help as much as if it was Joel Embiid. And then for the Sixers, their X factor is Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
Every game they won, Tobias Harris did very well. They really need him to play well.
Yeah, he was their second best offensive player all season. So.
Yeah. So they need him to play well. They need him to basically take all of the offensive load that Joel was carrying. If he does that, I could see them also win in 7, but I think I just trust the Hawks more. I picked the Hawks last time. I'm going with the Hawks. They're going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Good for them.
And it'll be good for them. It'll be the first time they got there since they got there.
With Paul Millsap.
Actually, I don't know if they
wait,
got
no,
there.
that was the second round.
That was the second round, yeah.
I don't know the last time they made the Eastern Conference Finals.
I don't know either. That's a good question. But it might be like sometime with Dominique. But they might have not made it in a long time. It might be their first time. I don't know. But good for them. They'll make it. A small market team getting there is always a good thing. So good for them. And now we'll get to the more exciting side of things. We'll talk about the Mavericks Clippers real quick. I think we're both on the assumption the Clippers are going to win. I mean, the Mavericks are going to win the series.
I think so. If they don't win tonight, they're going to lose the series, though.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement as well. So we'll do kind of both.
Yeah, we'll do both.
We'll first do the least likely one. If it's Utah versus the Clippers, how do you see the series going?
Matchup-wise, it should be Clippers in 6, but I'm saying Utah in 6 because that Clippers team is soft and they do not know they don't know how to win. I don't think they have it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Utah in 6 if it's the Clippers.
That would be a funny series just because it would be both the teams we beat 3-1.
Yeah,
it'd be funny. You think they would talk about it?
Yeah,
like
we both blew 3-1 leads. High five.
How the fuck did we do that? But I don't know. That series, like, I lost a lot of faith in the Clippers. They're so on and off.
It's weird.
There's no consistency with them. Sometimes Kawhi Leonard is automatic. He doesn't miss any shots. Sometimes he chokes away in the fourth quarter. Sometimes Paul George is automatic. And then sometimes he's just gone completely and it's back to pandemic P.
Yep.
The most consistent player for them has probably been Reggie Jackson, which is an anomaly. I just have to go with Utah. They've been hot. They've been the more consistent team all year.
They deserve their respect. Also, just a fun fact, since Kawhi Leonard and Paul George joined the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard is 1 for 12 in the clutch, and Paul George is 2 for 9 in the clutch.
Exactly.
And this is the shots for game tying or go ahead shots in the fourth quarter or OT. The only person who's been worse than them in the league since they joined the Clippers has been Andrew Wiggins. So this is not a good look.
Wiggins. That's funny. Remember we thought Golden State would be here?
Yeah.
It was a joke, but it would have been funny.
It would have been funny.
But they blew it to the Grizzlies.
They did. They really blew it.
Yeah, but I mean, Utah, they just dismantled the Grizzlies as soon as Donovan Mitchell came back. They look really good. I think Gobert is going to be a huge X factor for them, going to clog up the paint. And I just, like, right now, I don't even think the Clippers could make it. So I will go Utah in 6. I will say Utah would win in 6 if they face the Clippers. Now, let's say they face the Mavericks. How do you see the series going? It's a lot more different.
It's tough for me because I don't want to sleep on Utah, but I feel like this is an awful matchup for the Mavericks.
I think Luka's popping off right now.
Luka's popping off. I'm going to give Luka 2 games, but I'm going to say Jazz in 6 anyways. Again, yeah. I'm going to say Jazz in 6 both ways.
I don't know what I want to say for this. Luka's been popping off, but he is dealing with a neck strain.
The team doesn't play defense.
The team plays absolutely no defense. All of their games have been very high-scoring games. They don't play any defense. And they just have a lot of inconsistent role players. Porzingis hasn't been really good for them this series. He's been hit or miss. I'll just say Utah in 7. I'll say Utah in 7. I'll give it to Utah, but I feel like Luka can carry this to 7 if he really had to try to.
Yeah, he's going to need someone to get a game for him, though.
Yeah, someone will have to get a game, whether it's Tim Hardaway or Brunson or Finney Smith or one of those guys has to.
You didn't say Porzingis.
I mean, he hasn't got a game for them, so I'm not going to give it to him. The other guys have got a game for him. It should be Porzingis, but he doesn't look like the same old Porzingis anymore. He's not as aggressive.
He's scared.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just his mentality. He's scared to go in the lane. He doesn't post up as much as he used to. He doesn't dunk nearly as much as he used to. Like, back in New York, he was popping threes. Yeah. He was dunking on people. He was jamming on people. He's still, like, a good defensive player just because he's a rim protector and things along those lines. But, I mean, the Jazz have that on the other side as well. So it just kind of depends if Luka can just bring that European like luck with him and just kind of get past them. But I'll say Utah in 7. I think they've been a consistent team. I still think they're fraudulent. If we play them, I think we would win. But I would say Utah in 7. I think they'll win it. And now we'll get to our series. So we will go over ours. We beat the Blazers in 6. We'll go over the games. We won the first game. No, we lost the first game.
Yeah, we lost game 1.
We blew it. We definitely blew that game. We were up for the most part in it.
Well, the thing is, actually, we actually went down. We were down 20 at the end of the first quarter.
Then we came back.
And then we blew it.
Which is a strange game for the Nuggets. but
No
it's
one
very
played
Nugget basketball.
Yeah, only Marcus and Jokic played well really in this game.
Yeah.
So, which is weird. I'm saying Marcus, but he did.
Why are you saying? Oh, Marcus Howard. Yes,
Yeah.
that is something. Marcus Howard did play a lot of minutes in this series. For what reason? No one fucking knows.
Yeah.
It just happened. At this point, there's nothing else we can say. It just kind of happened. He played those games. He was involved in the series. Overall, was I happy that he was in the series? No. But did he have his moments here or there? Yeah.
He played well in the first game. He didn't really do much else.
But the first game didn't go well. Dame was playing well. That was just one you kind of feel out game. You threw it away. Obviously, Nuggets fans weren't very happy about it, but you just kind of threw it away and didn't worry about it. And then game 2, we came back and we played a lot better. I don't remember.
I was looking at the wrong score. I'm sorry.
What was the score for the first one?
Well, I was looking at the final game of the season. That's what I was looking at.
So 123-109 was the one.
Yeah, so we
blew that in the third quarter.
We blew this one in the third quarter.
Yeah, so they gave up a 38-point quarter in that. And then we just
Dame went nuclear in this game.
Well,
yeah, he played really well in this game.
Yeah, he had 34.
Jokic and MPJ played well, but MPJ, we'll get to it, I'm sure. But
yes. Jokic played well. CJ played well. Nurkic played well. One of the only games Nurkic did not foul out of.
Yeah.
But that's also something that'll come up. But like I said, same thing with this game. First game was a feel-out game. We blew it. Obviously, no Nuggets fan was happy about it, but it's the first game. It's always a questionable one. But the second one, we came back and we played a lot better. We came out, doing really well in the first quarter, really well in the second quarter, but no teams were playing defense in the first half. Like, we scored 42 in the second quarter. They scored 36, then 28, and then it got a lot more defensively minded. We made an adjustment finally in this game. We put Aaron Gordon on Damian Lillard. This was the first game where we put Aaron Gordon on Damian Lillard. He actually asked to be put on Damian Lillard because Damian Lillard was popping off in the first half of this game.
Crazy.
But then we ended up winning just because he did end up slowing him down a little bit. Clutch plays came down the line from, Jokic and Porter.
Jokic only missed 5 shots.
Yeah. And he definitely is the MVP for this. And now that we're in playoffs, we can give him MVP.
Yeah.
This was a game that he won primarily because he had 38, 8 and 5. It was definitely a better game for him, especially off of the last game where he only had 1 assist.
Mm-hmm.
Also a better game for MPJ. He shot better from 3. Didn't just make 1 out of 11. He was 3 of 6. Overall, a better game. But what do you think of finally making the adjustment to put in Aaron Gordon? I think this is the first time I've seen Malone make an adjustment that quickly.
Real. I mean, this kind of, in the long run, it shifted the series.
Yeah.
It gave Dame, it gave our defense, and it gave Dame different looks, and he still got his, obviously, but it gave him different looks. It wasn't just Facu on him.
No,
it was Aaron Gordon and Facu and a little bit of Austin Rivers.
Yeah.
Was this the Austin Rivers game?
No, that is the next game we will talk about. Okay. So next, we went into game 3, tied 1-1. As I told Phil, this was the game I wanted to win up to 2 games because whoever usually wins game 3 in a tied series wins the series.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to win this game. We came out strong. We were up 9 at the end of the first. They started to bring it back a little bit. But then, as Phil alluded to, Austin Rivers became godly and couldn't miss any threes.
He was so clutch in this game.
He definitely was the MVP of this game. He won this game for us. He had 21 points on 50% shooting from the field and from 3.
Made 5 from 10 from 3. It's pretty impressive.
He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Jokic obviously put in a 36, 11, and 5. He was great. I don't know what else to say about Austin Rivers. I'm not a huge fan of his, but he played great. I have to tip my hat off to him. Without him, we do not win that game.
No way.
That was literally all him just coming in and hitting clutch bucket after clutch bucket, especially because our bench wasn't really playing that well in that game. But I will also give another shout out in this game to Facu, who had 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists.
He's close to that triple-double.
He was. He had 8 rebounds.
That's crazy. He had more rebounds than everybody on the team except for Jokic.
Yeah, he just played extremely well. And then, obviously, the thing that changed the game for this one, as well as some of the other ones, Yusuf Nurkic fouled out.
Yep.
Huge.
When he fouled out, that game ended, basically.
Yeah, whenever Nurkic fouls out, it was basically most likely that we were going to win the game. I don't know. It's been a consistent issue for him since
He's fouled out in 3 of the 6 games we played.
It was a consistent issue for him even back when he was in Denver.
Yeah, he was always in foul trouble then too.
It was a lot of the reason why Jokic used to get minutes when Jokic was coming off the bench was because he got fouled out so much, and then eventually led into Jokic becoming the full-time starter and taking over the team and eventually pushing him out of town. So it's definitely that was an issue for them the whole series, but like we said, Game 3, huge win. Good job, Austin Rivers. You did great. Game 4, anomaly.
Yeah, jeez.
No one played well on our team.
No, it was a bad game. We got railed.
Absolutely no one played well. We lost by 20, 115-95. We came out soft.
We weren't there.
We were super soft. They definitely, I don't know, what my opinion is they came out, they were like, we did our job, we don't care. But I don't think that's a good
we took home
mindset.
No, they cannot do that in the next series.
Yeah, because I think that was their mindset. They were like, we came out, we got the one we needed. Especially because I'm sure they also knew the Game 3 thing. Everyone knows it. It's a pretty well-known thing in NBA. Whoever wins that game in a tied series usually wins the series. But they can't. They could have, really capitalized. Took a 3-1 lead coming to home, and they just completely did not show up. No one showed up. Then the whole bench for the Portland Trail Blazers showed up. Norman Powell showed up. All of them just showed up.
Played so well in this game.
It was an anomaly. They had the best game of the series, if you count it by win total.
Yeah.
But super anomaly of a game. Jokic, I assume, was just tired. It looked like he was tired.
He looked gassed.
And no one else came to help him out. So I feel bad mainly for Jokic on that one. It kind of sucked. But it's okay. We're coming back to home, 2-2. We took home court, and that was my mindset, and I'm sure that was their mindset, because I had said, we did our job. It's fine if we lost that game. Obviously, you didn't want to lose it the way we lost it, but it was fine. And then we came back for Game 5, which absolutely no one played any defense, and it went to double overtime. And Damian Lillard is godly and gained all my respect to this game.
This game is nuts.
So it was basically, we were up so much.
Yeah, we were.
We were up 20 at the very beginning of this game. Then they had a crazy end to the second quarter. Brought it within 5 or 2. And then it was just, a very competitive game. They won the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter was just a back and forth between Jokic and Dame. And Monte as well. Monte played well in this game. But Jesus Christ, it went to overtime. Damian Lillard sent it to overtime. Then we probably won. We thought we were good.
And then Damian sent it to overtime again.
Yeah, because we couldn't make free throws. We couldn't close it out in the first overtime. Dame just takes the ball up casually up court and hits a 3 on Shaq Harrison. Just easy-like. And then we got into double overtime. Luckily, Dame finally missed one shot.
He missed 1 3, and that was the difference in the game.
That was the difference of the game. But, we have to say his stat line because it was amazing. 55.
God, 55, 6, and 10.
Yeah.
10 assists.
10 assists. And then he was on 17 of 24 shooting, 12 of 17.
12 threes, too. It's crazy. He shot better percentage from 3 than he did from the field.
Yeah, and someone pointed out an even funnier thing is C.J. McCollum took 22 shots and was was 37 points away from
Dame. Yeah,
from Dame. That's how
and
efficient
only 2 less shots.
Yeah, only 2 less shots. That's how efficient Damian Lillard was in this game. He also had 3 blocks. He was trying to carry them to this win. I gave him a lot of respect for what he did because he also played 51 minutes in this game. He did his best that he could. Luckily for us, Covington can't dunk the ball.
Yep.
And CJ stepped out of bounds.
Yep.
So we got able to not go into a triple overtime game to relive the flashbacks of the triple overtime game 2 years ago. But that is also a very good thing for us, is to know that we've come such a long way where we actually came out winning this game. I know it's easier because we were at home, but if it was the team from 2 years ago, they definitely would have lost this game. Because they were way younger. They weren't as experienced. They didn't have the tough mentality that they do now. They came out fighting and they won this game. But who would be your MVP for this game? Because there's a lot of valuable people to give the MVP to. You could give it to Jokic. You could give it to MPJ, even though he faded away in the second half, which we will talk about at the end of all of this. But he hit a clutch 3.
He did. He was super clutch.
You could give it to Monte.
I'm giving it to Jokic.
Okay.
He was just so good. He's the reason why we won this game, to be honest. Monte was also, to be honest.
I'm going to give it to Monte.
Yeah, they were so good. They were so good. But that pass to MPJ was just gorgeous.
Yeah, it was a really good pass. It was a perfect pass. It made the guy fall over. It was literally so perfect. But I will give it to Monte because he had 28, 3 and 5, shot 4 and 9 from 3. I think Monte won this game just alone from his defense, but also in the fourth quarter and overtimes, he hit clutch bucket after clutch bucket after clutch bucket. He definitely, I think, in my opinion, won this game for us and allowed us to be able to go into Portland with a 3-2 lead. You know, Jokic did well as well, 38, 11, 9, almost had triple-double. He even had 4 blocks, which is really good for Jokic. MPJ, 26 points on 10 of 13 shooting, 12 rebounds. Did really good in the first half. Didn't really shoot much until that last shot, but, you know, you take what you can get. Aaron Gordon had 14. He did pretty good as well. Overall, very tough game, instant classic, a game that any of the two fans of the two teams could watch, or fans of Damian and Jokic can watch at any point, because that was a thriller of a game, an instant classic. Because Jesus Christ, I was so nervous. And then we went into Portland 3-2, a game where I actually thought we were going to lose. I didn't think we would win Game 6 just because I was just like, okay, they're not going to lose this. And we came out very poorly. We were down.
We looked horrible.
Yeah. We were down 6. Jokic got into foul trouble in the very first quarter, but luckily MPJ carried us at the beginning. He had 22 points. He missed, I think, only 1 shot in that quarter. He was 6 of 6 from 3. Carried us in that. Unfortunately, did not pan out for the rest of the game. He finished out with 26. Again, we will talk about this issue with him. But luckily, Jokic was able to come back in after his foul trouble and just went insane. He had 27 in the second half. We got back in. We started to climb back into it in the third quarter. We outscored them in that quarter. Monte played really well. And then we finally just started to lock down on Dame again. No one else on their team could really hit a bucket.
Yeah.
And we ended up winning the series. So who was your MVP for the last game?
I'm giving it to Jokic again.
Yeah, he does. He deserves this.
He took the game over, and he basically it was like, oh, Nuggets down 7 at halftime, and then Jokic was just like, okay, the series is over.
Yeah,
and he just won the game.
Yeah, my thing with the game was we didn't deserve to win this game, not in the slightest, because we played terribly.
We did.
We played awfully.
Play well.
But I kept telling you, you know, I was texting you, I was like, as long as we get it down to 10 going into the fourth, we'll be fine. We got down to, I think, 5 or 3. Yeah. Monte hit a 3 at the end of the third quarter and just gave us such a spark. And at that point, I was like, okay, this is a prime game for the steal. Good on Malone for knowing that this was a game to capture. Instead of waiting until the 6-minute mark, as he usually does, to put in Jokic, because that is his minutes. He put him in right when it hit like 7:50. Yeah, he was just like, go in and win this.
We're not going to mess with it anymore.
Yeah, he was like, you just don't want to, you know, mess around and give him a chance to come in a game 7. You know how hot Damian Lillard is. You don't want to give him a shot. So Jokic came in, carried us to this win, and just basically was the MVP of this series and showed why he's the MVP of the league. But I will say, thank you, Russ. You helped us out a lot in this game.
Yeah. It's about damn time.
I mean, they were terrible.
Yeah.
They were so bad. But I told you they were consistent because they were bad for us in the first half, and then they were terrible for the Blazers in the second half. Consistency.
Really bad consistency.
They gotta be bad for
nonetheless.
They gotta be bad for both teams, just at different halves. But yeah, the ball definitely was out on JaMychal Green in that possession when we were up 3. Luckily, they said it was out Melo, allowed us to go up 5. They called a lot of bad fouls on the Blazers at the end. But, you know, we won. Hats off to Portland, though. They played a tough series, even though we won in 6. A lot of those games were pretty close. So
yeah, they're all competitive, except for like one of them.
But we will talk about the main issue from the series, which is MPJ.
Yeah.
And the fact that he shows up in the first half of every game. He has great first halves, and this has been a consistent issue for him for 2 months.
Yeah, I can't put it together.
He can't put it together in the second half. He fades away in the second half. He's not as aggressive. He doesn't shoot as much. He doesn't go to the lane as much. What do you think is the problem with MPJ?
Youth. I think it's mainly youth and maybe a little bit of immaturity. He's probably getting in his head a little bit. I'm not really worried about this at all, to be honest, but I don't see it being fixed this season. But hopefully next season it'll at least improve. Hopefully we see that in the regular season too. Yeah, he's, I don't. When did Jamal tear his ACL? 3 months ago now. 2 months
it was
ago?
like in April or something.
So yeah, maybe 2 months ago. 2 months of him learning how to become the second option on a team.
Yeah,
as he's also trying to develop. It's frustrating because we really need him to show up in a full game, and if he did, he could have scored 50 twice.
Yeah, he definitely should have at least got 40 in this game. It's actually kind of shocking. You would look at his first quarter, and then you'd be like, he didn't score at all in the second half. He only got 4 in the second quarter.
Wasn't good.
It's not good at all. It's definitely an issue. It's an issue we've been talking consistently about on this podcast since Jamal's been out. It's just always been a thing. He shows up in the first half. He's very aggressive. He wants to shoot. He wants the ball. And then he just goes away in the second half. Is some of it on Malone's play calling? Yeah, but at the same time, I think a lot of it's just a mentality thing for him. I think he needs to stay as aggressive as he is, play more off ball in the second half. Because in this one, especially, we kind of needed him to go away in the second quarter because we needed Jokic to get hot in the second quarter. Because Jokic didn't play any of the first quarter. He barely played.
Yeah, we needed to get his shots.
So, him only scoring 4 in the second quarter was acceptable. I was like, that's fine. We need to get Jokic going. But then in the second half, I think he just was like, okay, so Jokic just got this now. And he has to realize, no, you're his running mate.
You got to keep it. You got to keep the production up.
Yeah, you're there with him. He has to look back at what Jamal was doing. Jamal in the playoffs last year was scoring just as much, if not more, than Jokic because he was always being aggressive and he was playing off of Jokic. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of easy buckets playing off of Jokic, and I think he just needs to do that more. He needs to be more aggressive. He needs to play more off ball. I also told you I think a lot of it's just I think he needs to work on his stamina a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
To get in a little bit better shape. I'm sure he's in great shape, but I think he just needs to get ready to be playing these insane amount of minutes because this is what's going to be coming for basically
the rest of his career.
Yeah, rest of his career, at least for a while. So, he needs to get used to this. And it's not like they're changing any coverages on him.
No, they're not doing anything different.
They're not doing anything different. Once Jokic comes in, he's getting the same kind of looks every single time. Because they have to double Jokic or they have to help on Jokic and they have to help off of these screens. He needs to be doing better. Again, he's young, so it's fine. I don't think he'll do better this offseason. Well, I think this will be a prolonged issue. No, I think eventually he'll figure it out. But as of right now, it is an alarming issue, especially with the opponent we are going to be playing next. So, I was wrong. The Lakers didn't do it. They couldn't get there. They completely lost it. You were right. AD's made a brittle.
He is literally peanut brittle.
He hurt his groin in Game 4. The Lakers blew a 2-1 lead in the series. LeBron looked gassed. He just didn't have it in him. Devin Booker was on fire for most of the series. DeAndre Ayton grew into his own in this series. And Chris Paul is obviously Chris Paul and has led this team to, have belief in themselves that they can accomplish great things this year. And they ended up winning in 6. They sent home the defending champions. First time the defending champions have been sent home in the first round since the Dallas Mavericks. So they're very hot. They're very confident in themselves. They're very ready for this series. And they also have home court advantage. How do you see this series going? Who do you think will win? Who are the main X factors? And yeah.
It's all coming down to Jokic. It's also coming down to MPJ. He needs to play. He played well. It's hard to say he didn't play well, but he needs to play better. And that's tough to say, but he needs to play better in the next series.
Hey man, that's what it takes to win championships.
Yeah.
You gotta play better.
You gotta keep playing. You gotta keep improving. If he can put together 2 quarters, then it's over. But
or 2 halves.
2 halves, not 2 quarters. And then it just comes down to how much can we slow down Booker. Ayton will get his, but it always comes down to Booker. Nuggets in 7.
Yeah.
I'm still going to pick him.
That's fine. I think the series is going to be very competitive. I think they're all going to be close games. I think Game 1's their best chance to steal one
Yeah.
on the road. I genuinely think Game 1's our best chance to steal on the road just because we start on Monday. It's not a lot of time to do a lot of film study, a lot of sessions. One negative against us is they're going to know all of our plays like right away because Torrey Craig is on that team, and we haven't changed any of our plays since Torrey Craig has been on that team. So Torrey's going to know, help out a lot for them in their film sessions and everything like that and their studies. But at the same time, Game 1 is just always kind of a feel-out game. It's the best time to, if you're a road team, try to steal one. We saw the Blazers do it to us. You just got to go out, play your hardest, and try to steal it.
Yep.
But overall, like X factors for this series, Jokic and Aiden, I think, are going to cancel each other out. Unfortunately, DeAndre Aiden always plays extremely well against Nikola Jokic, and right now he's playing the best he's played in his career so far. So I think they will cancel each other out, which is unfortunate. It really just comes down, like Phil said, to Devin Booker versus Michael Porter Jr. Will AG be able to guard Devin Booker? We haven't seen AG play Devin Booker at all since the trade. We already played all 3 of our games against the Suns, I'm pretty sure, before that trade. And we were 2-1 against them, but at that time we had Gary Harris and we had a lot more wing defender help with PJ playing and Will Barton playing. Those guys will still, for the most likelihood, be out, even though will most likely come back at some point in this series.
Hopefully Game 2.
Yeah, it looks like Game 2. If not, I would assume Game 3. PJ could come back in a Game 6 or 7, I think, but that's even a stretch, but it's possible. But it's just like, will AG, Aaron Gordon's got to guard Devin Booker. Facu's got to guard Devin Booker. It's got to be a team effort on him. Chris Paul is a great player, but Devin Booker's definitely the one we have to be worried about. And he plays well, they win. That's just how it is. And then for us, our X factor is obviously MPJ for the reasons we listed. If he can play a full game, I think we can win this series. But he has to play a full game because, as I said before in the playoffs, I think Nikola Jokic is good enough to get 2 wins just because he's that good.
Yeah.
We need 2 other people to get the other wins. In the last series, the 2 other people were Monte and Austin Rivers. I'm assuming that Austin Rivers or Monte or someone else could get it, and then MPJ just has to get the other one. And then we could win the series.
One game.
But that's just what it comes down to. Also, Monte, his mentor is CP3, so he might not be as good in this series as he was in last series, just because I assume CP3 might know a lot of what he likes to do, because he taught him a lot of what he does. But that'll be an interesting matchup for sure. Obviously, playing against Torrey will be fun to see. It's going to be a very competitive matchup. They're 2 young teams. We'll just kind of see how it goes. I will say Suns in 6. I just think that Devin Booker, we don't have anyone to guard him. I haven't seen AG guard him. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be tough, especially without Jamal. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, he's just on fire right now. That team's super confident right now. They're super hot. They also have home court, which is the disadvantage for us. If Jamal played, I would say we would win in 6 or 5.
Yeah.
But he's not playing, unfortunately.
Yeah, 5 or 6, I would lean towards 5. But it doesn't matter. He's not playing, so we can't talk about that.
So it's unfortunate. But we'll see how it goes. It'll definitely be competitive. It just kind of depends on our defense as well. We have to play a lot better defense in this series because they play good defense. They played extremely good defense against the Lakers.
They really did.
And we have to stop their 3-point shooting. That's the biggest thing. That whole team is splashing everything. I think they shot like 50% overall from 3 in that series or something close to that. Like they were all making all their threes. But Jokic is on fire right now. He had a 50-40-90 series in the first series. He also had 30 points. Like it was insane.
Yeah, he was nuts.
Insane series. Monte is on fire right now. MPJ is on fire for 2 quarters. So it'll be entertaining. I would like us to win. If we do win, I actually feel very good about our chances against the next opponent. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. It just comes down to that point.
Yeah, I guess we'll be back after the series, right?
Yeah, we'll be back. If it's the year we're going to do a Western Conference Finals preview, which we all hope for, or we will do a season in review and then talk about potentially what we could do in like the summer for, Jamal, and then just talk about possibly like draft stuff and things like that. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's everything for us this week. If you like the podcast, please make sure to tell a friend, like, subscribe, view us on all the podcasting platforms. And we hope you guys enjoy round 2, and we'll talk to you guys after that.
Go Nuggets.